Welcome to the Self-Care Show with Deidre Sanford. Although holistic and alternative healing methods are becoming more and more mainstream, what method is right for you? How do you find a practitioner once you've chosen to explore an alternative therapy? Each week, Deidre will explore a different modality with practitioners who will explain their modality and the benefits they and their clients have received through their sessions. She and her guests may also offer live readings during the show. Now, your host of the Self-Care Show, Deidre Sanford.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday, Parafam. How did we get here? I know I ask that a lot, but hey, Lee, there's just always that moment of each day, right? Where we're kind of looking around at the world and our lives and our schedule and the hamster wheel that we're all running on and thinking, wait, is it really Wednesday? Is it really almost the very last day of August? And where did the year go? It's kind of a resounding theme for the intros on this show. Man, it's been a wild ride this month, right? Hey, Tim. Good morning, Facebook users. Hi, Chris. Thanks for popping your name in there so I could see who you were. I know a bunch of you are joining us today from Kristina's world, and I'm super excited and super happy that you're able to take the time to join us today. In the meantime, let's talk about those energies because it seems to be the elephant in the room. How many planets are retrograde? 6, 7? I've heard both. We're all kind of swimming through all of the retrograde, doing the reviews, which isn't always fun, right? It can be a lot of fun, depends on your approach. Hi, Joe. Some days we don't have any control over whether those reviews that retrogrades bring us and a comet. Awesome. Thanks, Lee. Let's add one more to the mix. It's almost as though the universe is saying, how much can you take? I guess the better question would be, how much are you willing to exchange? What are you still carrying around? Full moon, right? What are you still carrying around that no longer serves? Those retrogrades are asking us some of those same questions, giving us, yes, the blue moon, Tim, giving us the opportunity to look at where we've been, where we are, where we're headed, but without which piece of baggage or multiple pieces of baggage to carry forward. And for some reason, I have an inkling that talking with Kristina today or hearing what Kristina shares with us today about astral travel may be an interesting way to approach how we move forward from here. And maybe even how do we wade through the rest of this retrograde? Now, I'm here to learn just as much as everyone else is. And I want to take a moment also to thank, I think it was Kevin who asked that Kristina or someone talk with us about astral travel. And Kristina was super, super amazing and jumped in and said on the side, I'd be happy to do that. So all of the information about where to find Kristina, if you're not already familiar with her, is in the chat for us all. You can find Kristina online at her website, KristinaBloom.com. You can also find her at Kristina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor on Facebook. Let's bring Kristina in to tell us about all of those things and more so she can help enlighten us. Good morning, Kristina.
Good morning. I'm just realizing my lighting is not good here. Maybe that's a little better. There we go.
Is that better?
I think so. Maybe if I move around, I'm going to sit back and relax. So, hi. Thank you. That was a really nice introduction.
It's fun to see you.
Yeah. You too. We normally only see each other at, conventions or something like that.
Nothing going on there. No interruptions or interference ever in that setting.
No, never. Just a whole lot of energy. Yeah.
Kristina's in the house. Lee's over there saying, hey.
Lee, I love Lee. She's so amazing.
She is wonderful. And I'm so sorry that I only got to catch about 5 minutes of Lee on your show, which is Be the Change on Monday nights here on this station, WLTK, at 8 p.m.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back and
Central
catch that
time.
replay. Yes, Central Time. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, we have to keep, I mean, I don't know about you, but I work in multiple time zones. I'm always like, wait, where are you? How do I schedule this? Yeah.
Multiple time zones, multiple dimensions. It gets a little wonky from time to time. Thanks, Todd, for popping that in the
Yeah.
chat for us.
Thank
So,
you.
Kristina,
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about you as a practitioner, as a human. What is it you want to share today?
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
lot for morning. You know that?
good beat, darling.
I'm a night person.
Here's Kevin. Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Um, wow. Well, I actually started out with doing Reiki and meditation. Like
Mhm.
that's where I started putting myself out there a little bit, little teeny tiny bit in a very small community at the time. And teaching meditation was something that everyone seemed to be open to. So I was literally teaching meditation in a local health club.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So it was just really interesting to be able to go into a health club, and they gave me this little room in the back next to the weight room where they're pumping the
Of course.
jam, you know?
Yeah. I have a massage therapist that's weight room adjacent as well, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just remember one time this was my lesson in grounding, right? So I did the meditation class. I don't remember how many people were in there.
Hi,
Hi,
Casey.
Casey. um, and Kevin and Barbara too. Good morning. I left that meditation class after teaching it. I was the last one to leave, lock up the building. You know how that goes.
Mhm.
I get in my car. It's an open parking lot. Like I'm the only car in the parking lot, and I almost hit a light pole because I wasn't grounded.
Wow.
That was
almost.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it like last second and veered away, but how ungrounded do you have to be to hit a light pole in an empty parking lot? So
We used to always keep chocolate on hand in our
I didn't even think of that. So that was my first lesson in grounding, was that I needed to start grounding myself and other people after meditation, because sometimes you're not grounded after meditation. So I started actually writing it into my meditations.
Oh, cool.
So at the end, we're coming back into our bodies, we're putting our roots down, we're making sure that we're grounded, because it feels great to be out there flying around, but it's not real practical. Yeah.
Oh no, Casey said she fell down the stairs last night.
Your footing is off too. Ugh.
No boy.
Yikes. I hope you're okay. Maybe that's why my foot hurts today. Like
gonna
literally, I woke up with pain in my foot. I have no idea why.
Casey's such a generous person,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because I connect into people and I take stuff I shouldn't take. So that's kind of the beginning of where I was to, at this point I have guided meditations. I have 6 free guided meditations on my website. Anybody can go there, listen to them. I think they're downloadable. I'm not really sure. Oh, no. Casey.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
That's not gonna, people on the podcast, when they tune in on the podcast later, can be like, what happened? Casey fell down and got a bruise. That's what happened.
Yes.
Hello, everyone, and good night.
Yes, 6 meditation downloads on your website.
Yes, 6 meditation downloads. Yeah, they're all guided meditations. Some are very short. There's like one that's welcoming the sun. There's one that is connecting with the moon. There's one that's activating the cones and rods in your eyes to enhance, how do I say that? To enhance visions.
I was gonna say visual.
Not necessarily physical visual, but yeah. So I'm sorry, I was reading and I got derailed. So yeah, that you can go there and get those. But mostly what I do today is readings. I do psychic readings. I do past life readings, Akashic records, spirit guides, mediumship. I mean, basically any kind of reading that doesn't require me to actually memorize anything. So I don't do astrology, I don't do numerology, and I don't do palmistry, because those three things would require me to actually remember stuff.
Right.
I prefer the intuitive. Just let it flow through.
Yeah. I love that. And your readings, I just had a reading, my first reading actually with Kristina today, or not today, but this week. And right off the top, just like, check mark, outline form meditation or reading, here's the topic, here's the additional information, here's the topic, here's what spirit guides want you to know, and here's some additional information. She's so easy and fun to work with. It's amazing.
See, that's the advantage of being a Virgo. Everything is bullet points.
Makes it easy to take notes during a reading.
It does.
And it really, really brings to my attention, at least, exactly what's there that I'm not seeing or
That's
I'm
awesome.
not working with. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for that. Anyway,
You're welcome.
Sorry, go right ahead, ma'am.
No, I was just going to say that's mostly what I do. I mean, I'm an author. I've got some books out. I've got 2 books out right now. I'm working on 2 more. They're on my whiteboard and they remind me every day I should be working on them. And then I have the show. I'm on some podcasts. Let's see, Thursday mornings through Clubhouse. I'm on this Soulful Sharing Circle podcast.
Nice.
On Saturday mornings, the Adirondack Park Paranormal Society podcast is released. I know there's at least one more. Oh, I do a Facebook Live on Tuesdays.
Yep.
Through my group at 7:30 Central PM.
And that's
PM, not AM.
Kristina Bloom, your spiritual advisor.
Yeah.
Group. So if you're not already a member of that group, jump over there so you can get a hold of those lives and participate in those conversations as well.
Right. And good morning, Michael. And also, after I do a live, I pin it to the featured, so you can go back and watch it if you want to. They vary in length. I've got a new podcast coming out, and my cohort and I will be talking about that more on more shows.
Super exciting. I love that for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to, and I've already spilled the beans. So if you know about it, you know about it, but I'm not going to talk about it more right now until he's with me. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. I'm doing my first metaphysical expo where I am, yes, Lee, where I am actually doing I'm facilitating, I'm running the metaphysical expo. And that is going to be November 18th and 19th in Saranac Lake, New York.
Yay.
Super excited about that. Yeah, lots of cool stuff going on with that.
I love it.
So many cool people. And I'm bringing in people as locally as I can to Saranac Lake. So within about an hour. So there's a lot of people from like Plattsburgh in the area around there. And if you're not from upstate New York, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I do wellness fairs, the spiritual and wellness fairs. I'm getting more involved in paranormal conferences. So, which is where I met you.
Yep.
The paranormal conference. So yeah, it's fun.
Rewarding experiences, all of them in their own way, each and every time.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So what are we doing here today now that I've spent like 15 minutes talking about myself?
No, it's perfect. It was Kevin Westerland, right? That requested we discuss astral travel. I remember it was somebody in another
Kevin
group.
Or Keith. Wait, he's in here.
Let's find that's him. What I was thinking.
Kevin Westerland. Yep.
Hi, Sharon.
Yep.
Thanks for popping in, you guys. We really appreciate you being here and getting caught up on Kristina's news, all that Kristina does. She is one busy woman, and I'm very, very grateful that she chose to spend her time with us this morning.
Thank you. Michael, yay. He's from Hudson, New York. Michael Christopher.
Yeah. I love, see? Yeah. Connections everywhere.
Connections everywhere.
So astral travel was the requested topic this morning.
Okay.
And I got to admit, I am wide open. I have very few preconceived notions about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So astral travel it's a technique that we can use to explore, basically.
Fab.
Yeah. So I learned how to do astral travel basically through dreaming. Like I would have out of body dreams, like I was flying dreams, that kind of thing. And I don't know, somehow I knew that there was a connection. So I learned to connect into that and learn how to do that while I was awake and had more control over it. So, I think probably through lucid dreaming is probably how I learned how to do
funny,
it.
because I was just going to say, how is it different from lucid dreaming?
How it's different is that you start out awake instead of asleep. That's how it's different. Yeah. I have used astral travel with myself. Oh, thank you. With myself to get information. It's basically how I do Akashic record readings. I leave my body and I go to the record hall and I get the records. I think it's something that I have been doing for so long. It's almost just natural for me to do it, to be able to leave my body and come back. I've also had some near-death experiences, which has given me, I think, more courage to leave my body knowing I can get back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get to that question in just a minute.
Perfect. Thanks, Tila.
Yeah, thank you.
Oops.
Yeah. So it's really interesting that for me, it was always easy to leave my body and come back. I had my first near-death experience when I was around 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I knew from a very young age I could leave and come back.
Wow.
And so I never struggled with that fear of coming back, fear of not being able to find my body again. I could always find my body again. Didn't always want to, but I always could.
I was going to say. Hi, Marilyn.
Good morning, Marilyn. So yeah, it's just one of those things that's easy for me to do, but I did have to learn how to teach other people how to do it. Mm-hmm. So that required more meditation, but it required me to, ironically, not do astral travel. Just to get the information.
I was going to say, taking notes, getting the information while you're completely out of body would be a really amazing feat.
It would be. It would be. I mean, I meet with my spirit guides through astral travel. It's something that's very natural for me, but I can teach people how to do it by putting in the safety things that probably scare people about not being able to get back to your body, right? So leaving an etheric thread to be able to follow back to your body, illuminating your body in light so that you can see it when you come back. Okay. There are different things that work for different people. If someone is more tactile, they're going to want a rope to pull on. Okay. If someone is more visual, they're going to want to see the light, or be able to identify their own body with something. And some people have even chosen a different color light, like maybe a blue light or a purple light or something that stands out to them so that they can find their way back to their body. Again, it's not something I've ever been concerned with. I always seem to find my way back pretty easily. Awesome. But, there are different ways to do it. Someone even had trouble with visuals, but was very tuned into sounds. So this is just really cool the way this person set it up. They attached their favorite song to their body. So when they wanted, what was that?
My cat.
Your cat. It sounded like somebody talking. That's funny.
You know what? I'm sorry. Let's just take a super quick break.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunate timing. My apologies. But let's take a quick break and I'll be right back. Thanks, Todd.
With big energy shifts spinning every which way, where can you turn for clarity and guidance? Turn to world-class psychic, medium, spiritual advisor, and trance channeler Kristina Bloom. For more than 20 years, Kristina has been helping people find clear answers to life's dilemmas. As an author, public speaker, and radio and podcast host, Kristina reaches audiences around the world. You can find her books, Intuitive You and Wisdom for the Age of Ascension, in online stores, and listen to her show, Be the Change, right here on WLTK. Kristina offers private psychic readings as well as psychic gallery sessions for business functions and private parties. Schedule your private psychic reading, group function, or reach Kristina to speak at your event at psychickristina67@gmail.com. That's psychickristina67@gmail.com, or visit her website, kristinabloom.com.
Hey, we're back. Thank you so much. You are watching The Self-Care Show. I'm your host, Deidre, and today's guest is Kristina Bloom. We're embarking on an amazing chat with Kristina about astral projection or astral travel. And Kristina, I think when we cut super quick to you were talking with us about someone who had embedded a song.
They attached their favorite song.
Okay. Yeah,
to their body. Yeah. So that when it was time to come back, all they had to do was think about their favorite song and they could hear it playing and follow it back.
I love that.
Yeah. The creativity that people come up with in some of these classes is so amazing.
Well, and I think it speaks to how individual we all are, and all of our travels need to be for each of us in order, as you were saying, to feel safe making the choice to travel away from our physical form.
Exactly. And it honestly did not even occur to me that people wouldn't feel safe doing it, because I've always felt safe doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't even occur to me it would be an issue.
You can't even imagine that at 5 years old, having had your first experience with this out of body work, it wouldn't have been somewhat terrifying.
It really wasn't.
Then
it really wasn't.
Maybe at that age, we're just not yet ready to be terrified by things that terrify
adults,
more mature people who had time to develop all these fears that we just don't come in with.
Right. Well, okay. So, I mean, for me, it was a very peaceful experience, even though what got me there was not peaceful. I got knocked out of my body, basically. My spirit got knocked out of my body. And I found myself walking across a field of wildflowers. And I saw somebody sitting on a boulder way off in the field. So at 5 years old, I can't even remember what I was wearing. Like, it was so clear. And I walked out there and Jesus was sitting on a rock. He was just sitting out there, and he helped me sit up next to him, and we had a nice little chat. And he said, "Okay, it's time to go home now."
Wow.
You know, so it wasn't, that part of it was like the best part of that whole experience for me.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't scary. It never was scary for me. I've never been able to not find my body.
Wow.
I just automatically come back to it. And I think because I started doing it so young.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't scary for me. It was a beautiful experience. I do want to get to this question. How do you train yourself for controlling your astral travel abilities? Okay. I would say have an intention. Where do you want to go? For me, that's what it is. It's having an intention.
And to her point, the rest of the question, for those of you who can't see it on the screen in the live, is because I've experienced this many times without my own will. So my understanding is Delic is having or has had experiences outside her body without consciously choosing to leave her body.
Right. That would be, well, that's kind of what my first experience was. I didn't consciously choose. Yeah. Oh, just like in Stranger Things, Maxine had her favorite song to come back to her body to. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone else had thought of that. I thought only just my student at the time had thought of that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I have left my body without thinking about doing it too, without intending to do it. I think for me, I find comfort in intention. And maybe that's just because as a Virgo, I'm a very concrete thinker, but having an intention. Do I want to go to the Akashic Library? Do I want to go to the Grand Canyon? Because we can do that. I mean, that crosses the line, I think, from astral travel maybe into bilocation. But I think the two are so similar that one is you go to a different location on Earth, and the other one is you go off in the cosmos somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's really the difference between those two things. But having an intention, where do you want to go? Or at least having an intention of, what do I want to experience? What is it I'm looking to experience? Because I think that's probably more important than what do I want to look at? What do I want to see? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that as soon as you said that, I thought, oh, well, like when we go into a paranormal investigation, if we go in with the intention of the experience we want to create or have,
Right.
it can greatly thought forms and energy greatly influence the type of experience that we have.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And just like with an paranormal investigation, if you go into this with fear, you're going to find something to be afraid of.
Sure. Kind of like everyday life, but
kind of like everyday life.
A little bit more heavy duty.
What you're looking for.
Aspect. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So how do we keep ourselves, if we're prone to suddenly just choosing to leave our bodies on some level, then I understand you're saying with intention. So would you say then that the intention to control, say, spontaneous astral travel, would be having the intention to stay in your physical form?
Yes.
And perhaps maybe some grounding.
Yeah. Doing some grounding first. And if I intend to go astral traveling, I ground first because that helps me find my way back to my body. So the thing to remember is that all of you doesn't leave your body. Like your whole spirit doesn't leave your body. Only part of it does. Okay. Because if all of your spirit left your body, there'd be nothing there to keep your body alive. There'd be no reason for your brain to keep functioning and your heart to beat. Right. So, there's part of you has to stay behind to keep the shop running,
Yeah.
So, are you okay over there?
Yeah. Okay. It's not me I'm worried about.
That's really the whole point of it, though, is that I think that there's expectations about what it's going to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why some people are afraid to do it. Maybe that's why some people are afraid they won't find their body again. But you're literally leaving part of your spirit in your body to keep things running. You can find your own spirit again. Just tune into your own energy.
That's like calling your other half back, so to speak.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And I know you brought Michael's statement up onto the screen. So let's throw that out there for discussion. Michael says he's tried to induce astral travel, but always snaps out of it right when he feels like he's going to leave his body.
That is usually a subconscious fear response. That's where that comes in. It's kind of a subconscious fear response of, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is different. I don't know if I like this. This is what I wanted, but now that I'm doing it, I don't know if I like it. But all of those thoughts are that quick and subconscious.
Okay.
Because then you get like an inch out of your body and then you fall back into your body. And what's the first thing you think? Crap, it didn't work.
For those of you who don't know the Michael of whom we speak, we're talking about Michael Christopher, who is another host on the station. He is an evidential medium and an amazing one at that, by the way, y'all. But so for me, I think it would probably come back down to, I've just lost control.
Yeah, that
I would
too.
pull myself back home in that respect.
All right. We have some really good questions.
Yeah, we do. I just saw Barbara's pop in.
Yeah.
No, Michael, thank you for jumping in and sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Can you say what you just said again? Like what your response would be?
Mine, I would probably literally be like, wait, oh shit, I have no control, and run back into my body.
Oh, the control issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we ground. That's why we leave a thread we can use. Some people see it as like a golden rope, I mean, because they want something
I was,
stronger than a
thank you
thread.
for saying that, because I was going to
Yeah.
ask about, you're talking about ways to ensure that you would be able to find your body when you choose to return. I was wondering, wouldn't that also, you mentioned a cord, and it made me think the etheric cord.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if that gets severed, then, like you said, part of you needs to stay behind.
Right.
To keep the office up and running.
Exactly. Somebody's got to keep the open sign on, right?
Yeah. That in and of itself fascinates me, is being able to see and choose to remain attached to your etheric cord, or choose to let go.
Right.
Yeah.
You can choose to let go. I mean, there are people who have permanently left their physical bodies behind by simply choosing to do so.
Yeah. I remember reading something about that. I did do a little bit of reading and research before today, but I didn't want to do a lot because I still wanted to be open-minded.
Right.
Was it Barbara's question or Tim's question you were looking at next?
I was looking at Tim's.
Okay.
Yeah. How does one know they've left their body? For me, it's kind of a feeling of the initial feeling. The initial feeling for me is, like when you're on a roller coaster or you're driving fast on a hilly road and you just crest, and as you're going over, you kind of get that kind of an uplift feeling.
Yeah.
To
Like
me, that's what it initially feels like lifting up. I don't often look behind to see my body left behind. I did that once when I was having surgery.
Okay.
And the whole scene just kind of freaked me out. I didn't want to see.
I don't want to see that. Right.
I didn't want to see all that.
Yeah.
So I just stopped looking. But you can look and see if you see your physical body. You might see, it might seem fuzzy or foggy or not clear, just because you've shifted dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
When you've left your body, you've shifted dimensions. You might not see clearly into the dimension where your body is. The other thing is I set an intention of safety. My body is safe while I'm out of it.
Yeah.
That's another thing that helps people too. Well, what if I'm out of my body and somebody comes in and hurts me? Believe me, you will be back in your body that fast.
I would think.
If that happens.
That at least on initial attempt or two, or potentially even subsequent, you'd want to choose to do this with maybe a watcher.
Yeah.
Someone to just observe.
Someone to be there.
Mind of knowing that someone is minding your body
while
you're gone.
Right. I trust my spirit guides to do that. But, not everyone would do that. Maybe somebody would want to have someone there that they feel safe with. The other thing is, anytime that I'm meditating in my office, I shut the door and I lock the door so nobody can walk in.
Yeah, that's a hard crash.
Yeah, that is a hard crash when you're meditating and you're deep into a meditation of any kind.
Yeah, I've literally put a little, like the do not disturb signs you get at hotels. They make those that are battery operated with a dry erase front, and you can turn the light on. And I have one of those on my door upstairs. It's like, so I'm going to meditating. It doesn't matter that I said that, because 10 minutes later, there's a knock at the door and you're like, boom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. My husband got me a light up on air sign.
Yeah.
Like they have in studios. And it needs rewiring, but once he gets it rewired, it's going to be hung above my door. It's remote controlled. So I can put that on. That means nobody comes in. And even the 3-year-old will understand that.
There you go. With the lights on.
Lights on, you don't knock on grandma's door. That's just the way it is.
That's awesome.
All right. We're going to get to Barbara's question here, I think. So can one do astral travel to go back to a confusing time in your life and find answers? I have.
Nice.
I have. I've also used it to go back to a previous time in my life where I needed to get part of my spirit out of there. Like, I grew up in a pretty violent environment. And when we do that, part of ourselves gets left behind, any kind of traumatic event. And also, by the way, you can leave parts of yourself behind for really great events too. Like you go on vacation, you're sitting on the beach, you don't want to leave the beach, but your body goes home. And your body goes home and can't function because the part you need is still sitting on the beach. So that would be like a soul retrieval. And I do use astral travel to do soul retrievals.
Sweet.
So yeah, you can do that. And not even just retrievals, but to go back to get answers. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Interesting. And that Deluxe question earlier about, I'm just going to call it spontaneous astral travel, spontaneous out of body,
Right.
makes me think of a tour I did, 21 days, Ireland, England, and Scotland. And I found myself what I considered at the time to be walking into past lives, because I could look down, my clothing was different. I knew something had changed. I used to live right there. And it just happened as I was traveling. And there was really no one to speak with to make sense of it with, other than to be able to say, oh, I just looked down and I was a scullery maid watching the knights come in from battle at Edinburgh Castle.
Right.
Multiple dimensions. Is it past life? Is it a parallel, but at a different time? Who knows?
Right.
But it's making me think about that and questioning those experiences in a whole new way.
I totally get that. Because, we can say past lives, but that doesn't mean that anything runs in a line.
Right. Right.
Our past lives might be in the future. We don't know. We could be living all these lives simultaneously. We have no idea.
Right.
Right. They're all theories. And some people, I think we all tend to grab onto like our favorite theories and say, this is the way it is. But honestly, we have no idea.
We don't know.
We don't know.
The one, maybe not, is it the favorite because it feels right in your soul or in your gut when you think about it, or when you gather information and find something that seems to fit?
Right. But do we know if it's past, present, or future?
Right. And how do we know? Just because I was dressed as a scullery maid carrying a bucket, watching people come in on horseback, does it really mean it was past life?
Not necessarily.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Lee's comment here, the Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. That's awesome.
When you start looking at these things as an adult and you have those reminders of things we saw and incorporated into our worlds as children, then we get to look at them in a whole new perspective. Oh my gosh. And that kind of touches, Lee, on your show, your movie review show that's recently debuted with us too. And that is, how many of those things from movies from 10, 15, 20 years ago, how many of those are grounded in someone who was able to see the future? Or how many of those things that are actually becoming daily life stuff now are brought up because of the conscious collective?
Especially the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the tricorder thing from what was that show? Star Trek. The thing they just tap the thing on their shirt and then they can talk to anybody. That's Bluetooth technology, people.
Right. And the Jetsons, at least that's the Jetsons.
Yes.
To bring it all, just down to a level we can mostly all relate to.
Right. So we don't have Rosie, but we do have those little vacuum cleaner things.
Right, the Roomba. Well, and I've been told that there's a grocery store chain not too far from me that actually has a robot concierge that just kind of zips around the store, and you can ask it where things are and if it's in stock and that kind of questions. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Back to the subject at hand. Sorry. I forgot to use my turn signal. Dilek. She says one time she's seen it. I think she means her body as she was traveling. But you feel it when you leave your body. She said she felt lighter and free, which I think is very similar to what you were talking about.
Right. I don't like the feeling when I come back either. It feels heavy, and it feels a lot heavier than I actually am. I mean, when I re-enter my body, it takes me time to reintegrate into this is a physical world. It's going to take me to actually get up and move this physical thing I've just landed in again. It takes some adjustment when you come back. And I agree. I don't like the feeling of coming back either. But if we still have work to do here, we're still going to come back. Yeah.
Crazy. So that's speaking of coming back. I believe I had read, I don't know what transcendental meditation maybe is more specifically what I was reading about at the time, but reading about ill effects of, I guess what you'd call a crash landing back into your body.
Okay.
Would that be something that we might want to consider if we choose to undertake a concerted effort at astral travel? Like if you land awkwardly, breaking your arm.
Sometimes we can land awkwardly. Sometimes it's very disorienting.
Mhm.
And I think, I don't know, at least I can only really speak from my own experience. When I am disoriented after I've been back in my body, it's because not all of me came back. Some of me is still floating around out there somewhere, and I need to call it back. Otherwise, it's really hard to function on planet Earth. It takes so much energy and focus just to function on this planet. You know, when we're not in our bodies, it doesn't take that much energy to function, you know, because out there, when we're floating around in the astral, in the cosmos, whatever, we're not thinking about things like paying bills. We're not thinking about things like grocery shopping or, you know, what are the kids doing or, you know, whatever your concerns might be. We don't have those concerns out there. So when we come back into our bodies, part of us actually probably wants to stay out there where we don't have to think about those things. Unfortunately, it's usually the part of us that needs to think about those things and that we need to function on the planet. So we need to bring them back. And I think for me, definitely the hardest part of astral traveling is coming back.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that really is the hardest part.
I mean, the activation to being back in this gravity physical form.
Right. Because it really, I mean, I don't care how tiny you are, this form feels heavy when you've not been in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it doesn't matter. It's just one of those things. But let's see. Joe has a question here I wanted to bring up.
Good morning, Lorena.
And Jennifer, good morning. Let's see. What if you want to go to your spirit guide's home, but you don't know where they live?
You mean like spirit guide literal home or spirit guide realm home?
Yeah.
I guess that would be my first question.
I don't know. My spirit guides tend to come to me or call me to them. Ask for an address. I don't know. Etheric GPS. I'm not
I was going to say astral GPS. Yeah.
I don't know. There are more comments though, so maybe she's answered. Realm, spirit guide realm.
Okay.
What I do is I just connect into the energy of whoever it is that I wanted to go to talk to.
Fine.
I just zoom in on their energy. I focus on that. I connect to it and I go right there.
So it's really kind of more like an internal compass that guides you to your destination.
I think so.
And again, if we're out in the astral plane, we just think of something and blink and it's done.
Right.
Or maybe not even blink before it's done.
Right. We just think of it and boom, there it is.
Okay.
Instant manifestation. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Well, not out there. I remember somebody saying, if you manifested everything you've ever wanted, where would you put it all?
It depends on what you want.
That's true.
I mean, as beings on the planet Earth, right, we're geared toward, trained toward, and conditioned toward materialistic things.
Right. Right.
But if we're choosing these kinds of journeys for ourselves, we're probably looking for other kinds of things rather than materialistic as we're journeying. Just put it in your pocket and bring it back.
That's right. Put it in your pocket. You know.
Jennifer.
All right.
Sometimes while sleeping, she floats through a star tunnel very fast and paused to look left or right to see what's going on inside like a room. They acknowledge her, and then she realizes what's going on, and she just moves forward. Lucid dreams or astral travel?
If you're sleeping, it's lucid dreaming.
Okay.
That's my understanding. And I say that like I'm the authority. I don't actually know. But my feeling is it would be lucid dreaming if it started when you were sleeping.
So would you say that's kind of the great divide between lucid dreaming? Even if you set your intention to travel before you go to sleep, that would be the great divide between lucid dreaming and astral travel?
I think so.
Okay.
Like I said, I mean, I'm not an expert on it as far as, you know, what we're labeling things. And that's the other thing that we do as humans. We label everything. Yeah. Like everything. We even have label makers because we label everything. So does it really matter if it's a lucid dream or an astral travel? That's the question I would ask is,
Yeah.
does it really matter what you call it? Are you getting what you need from it?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the way that I would look at it is, what do you need?
And sometimes we don't know what we need, right?
Right.
Kind of maybe not ideal for choosing to astral travel to go find things if we don't know what we're looking for.
Yeah. And if you just want to go exploring, go with somebody.
Yeah.
Tag your spirit guide, say, hey, let's go explore. I'm not comfortable with the idea. I mean, do you have any idea how big the cosmos is?
No.
Me either, because I haven't seen it all. It's huge. I mean, if I'm going to go traveling like that, just out of curiosity, I would find someone to go with me.
I think that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, you have started a question here.
I started a couple of them. Barbara popped in and she was talking about keeping track of physical time. Do you notice how many minutes generally when you're in your out of body experience? Do you know how long you've been gone?
I'm going to say no.
Because there's no time.
Because there's no time out there. And the thing is, I can look at my clock when I leave. Let's say I sit down to go into an astral travel meditation at 3 p.m. And I come back and it's 3:10 p.m. But I feel like I've been out there for hours because the times don't match up ever. 10 minutes never feels like 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Dela came up with another one too. She said she's wondering if there's any way to pick up an attachment that might be somewhat malevolent on the astral level.
You know what? Anything is possible. You get what you focus on.
Okay.
I always am protected. I'm always working with my spirit guides. I am always, if I am in any way, shape, or form not emotionally or mentally okay for any reason, I don't do it. Because that's the energy you're putting out. Whatever energy you're putting out is what you're going to get back.
The conscious choice.
Yeah.
And also being self-aware enough to know that, hey, there's way too much turmoil here to be investigating on that level.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Phrase.
Right. I would agree with that. It's interesting to me. Like, I have not ever had a negative out of body experience. I've never had one. They've always been positive. Even when I've had 4 near-death experiences. Now, when you have a near-death experience, it's not always your choice. I mean, I suppose sometimes it could be, but something happens to your body that boots your spirit out of your body, right? That experience for me has never been positive, but the experience while I'm out of my body always has been. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. I was just kind of reading the comments to see if there were any other questions that we needed to address. Jamie, I think living in the moment is kind of key to just making it through. And I think you're a much more spiritual person than you believe you might be.
I believe so too.
I mean, we've both met you, huh?
Yeah, we know.
Hi, B. Dilek, thank you for coming and joining this morning on the show. It's really great to have you here. It looks like, I hope we've covered everyone's questions. Please, Kristina, if you see something that I didn't pick up.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through here, and I know the key here is to keep talking while we're doing this. But,
well, multitasking at its worst. I mean, best. So we did put up Kristina's website for everyone in the chat, just as a general reminder, especially for our podcast listeners. Kristina's website is her name, KristinaBloom.com, and that is Kristina with a K, Kristina, Bloom. Her Facebook group is Kristina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor, Advisor, for those of us who are spelling challenged. I get that way sometimes.
It's actually spelled both ways. Like in the
Yeah.
dictionary. Yeah. I've looked it up. You can spell it both ways. I like the O.
Merriam keeps changing his mind, darn it. Some of the things they're adding to the dictionary these days are just kind of awe-inspiring for me. Like, how did that even get in there? Todd has also put that information back in the chat for those of you who are able to watch the replay via YouTube or through the website and be able to see the chat on there. What did we miss, Kristina? You've got a ton coming up.
Yeah. Can I just answer Lee's question here?
Please do.
Astral travel with others. I love group astral travel.
Okay, so when are we doing an in-person group astral travel event with you? That might be something to put on the books.
Yeah, that's something I need to get on the books. If we're looking at weekends, December is my earliest availability.
Cool.
So, but I just wanted to answer that question because I have taught classes in person where we go into it's really interesting because it doesn't probably sound like an astral travel to some people because we are using our physical voices to communicate with each other through it. But we have a shared experience where we all go into a meditation together, and it starts out a guided meditation, and then we go somewhere. And now we have gone to, in some of my classes, we have gone to a bazaar somewhere off in the universe. It's like a Turkish bazaar kind of thing where people are selling stuff. And it looks like a Star Wars movie, you know, like when they walk into that place and people are selling all kinds of weird stuff. We have gone to Pleiades and visited with the Pleiadian people. We have gone on spaceships. We have gone, what was that one that was really, really cool? Like everything I just described wasn't, right? So we've gone into classrooms. Now I also teach trance channeling, right? So you go into a trance, you invite someone else to come in and use your body, and not just anyone. There's all kinds of safety guards on that too.
Yeah.
But we went to a class with one of my advanced intuitive view classes where we were actually the spirits channeling through other people.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, yes, astral travel with others, totally possible as long as everyone is in there.
That's cool.
And I've never lost anyone out there because I check when we get back. I scan everybody and make sure everybody is all the way back. So.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm seeing like a school field trip and the teachers and the principal counting heads as people get back on the bus to leave the location.
Yeah, got to do the checklist. Got to make sure we have, count all the heads. Make sure everybody's there.
Counting souls.
Oh, Jamie, meditate through your dentist.
There you go.
Yeah.
Probably don't want to astral travel. You might bite a finger, but
yeah, I the thing is that with the medium that we're using right now, we reach people everywhere, right? So we can be talking to people in other countries and other time zones, whatever. So getting everyone together like in one physical space to do something like that would be an effort.
But setting up an etheric meeting room.
We could do that. I'm not as comfortable with astral travel that way. Just because I want to be able to, if somebody's having trouble getting back, I can't reach through the screen and touch them and shake them a little bit and go, come on back. Yeah. So no Home Alone experience.
Love it.
So for me, there are very few things that I insist on doing in person. I would say group astral travel is one of those things because it's a safety issue.
Yeah, it sounds like a good policy.
Yeah.
Kristina, I'm going to thank you one more time for agreeing to spend your time and your experience and wisdom with us this morning. Thank you so much.
It was fun.
Thank you, everyone who popped in, chatted with us, shared your questions, shared your thoughts. Michelle, I'm not sure I've met you before, so it's great to see you here. And so many of you, I love when we get your energy involved in our shows. It just adds so much to what's happening here on our shows, doesn't it? It's a fantastic experience. Guys, we're going to have to sign off and let you enjoy the rest of your day. Happy full moon, blue moon, everybody. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Jump
I'm
out.
doing an online full moon meditation tonight.
Yay! What time?
In my group. It's in my Kristina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor group. So you have to actually join the group to do it.
Awesome. So run to Facebook if you haven't already joined Kristina's group, Kristina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor on Facebook. What time is the group meditation tonight, ma'am?
7:30.
7:30 this evening. Once you go into, at least I know the events on the station page, and you change your status to going to the event, Facebook will actually send you a reminder a few minutes before the live event takes place.
I have not even made an event. I just
there
put
you
it
go.
out there.
There you go. When you guys see the shows that you want to watch and you're like, oh yeah, in your head, oh, I want to see that. Go ahead and click the reminder or click the status under the event, set it to going, and Facebook will offer to send you a reminder. You'll never miss another live show that way.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Kristina, I'm sending you great big hugs and tons of gratitude. Thank you again. Everyone else, thank you again for joining us. That's going to do it for this week's self-care show. Next week, we will be welcoming back Peter Benson. You may remember Peter Benson creates Tensor technology. And Todd and I are both going to be joining that show so we can talk with Peter and all of you about our experiences as we wore our pieces.
Awesome.
Sending everyone off with great wishes for fantastic days and fabulous work with this full moon. Enjoy the rest of your days, guys. That's going to do it for now.
The truth is here and now on WLTK DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.